This is a landmark year as we celebrate the Golden Jubilee of diplomatic relations between India and Kingdom of Bahrain. The people of our two countries are celebrating this important milestone in our journey together with great enthusiasm and fervor.
And Bahrain, gateway to the world was through India. Many of our people not only lived in India for some time, but traded in India, studied in India, and had even intermarriages in India.
The Indian community in Bahrain estimated at 400,000 people, making them the largest group of expatriates in the country, enjoying the kingdom, strong culture, and traditions of peaceful coexistence and tolerance, guided by the vision and wise leadership of His Majesty the King.
Education in India, you do not get it only through the university. It is the whole life. India itself is a university in itself, I learned from there the principle of tolerance.
We are amazed with their culture, and then the influence is there. You can see it day by day. When you, for example, if I visit India and the warm welcome I receive from the Indian people when they think I'm from Bahrain, that's a beautiful feeling.
Two very distinct countries in the Asian continent, India and Bahrain. Together, let us explore the strong connection binding these two countries. The cultural unity and diversity, crucial developments across industries, the real-life stories of acceptance, and diplomatic ties that will pave the way forward. We will take a journey through their historical ties and also try to understand what makes these two countries strong powerhouses in the world today. A fascinating journey to understand the Delhi in Dilmun. Namaste, Bahrain.
مرحبا بالجالية الهندية.
The trade connections between Bahrain and India date back to the 3rd millennium BC, when Dilmun, or today's Bahrain, was a major trade hub between Mesopotamia and Indus Valley civilization.
The Indian community were consisting of only traders, only businessmen. There were no Indian laborers or engineers or architects or anybody, mainly businessmen. And they come from the Banyas community, and we call them, until now, the old Bahrainis, when they want to talk about any Hindu, they say it's Banyan. They're referring from those days when we have the community of the Indian traders in the market with their dhotis, known for their integrity and honesty in business.
The trade with India has always flourished over a number of years. I do remember when I came 52 years back. So I think it was Bahrain and India had been, of course, this is since thousands of years. I don't want to go into those histories. But yes, I think it has been on an increase. The new ambassador, Mr. Srivastava, has come in. And I think he has been sort of instrumental in increasing trade between India and Bahrain.
Bahrain has signed an FTA, a free trade agreement with the United States. India can actually benefit from that agreement that has been there for more than 12 years. So by doing maybe more of joint ventures between Bahraini firms as well as Indian firms, then we can see a lot that could be benefiting the Indian market by going to the US and again being exempt from duty. That's one. On the other hand, Bahrain has already announced many new projects. They're open not only for the Bahraini businessmen, but again for the Indian community, business community who is in Bahrain and who's still did not even come to Bahrain, that we can join hands and be able to fulfill the requirement.
Bahrain's oil boom in the early 70s provided fresh impetus to the centuries-old India-Bahrain trade relations. With the attained prosperity and higher standard of living, the demand for goods and services also increased in the island. This boosted global imports into Bahrain.
So Bahrain was the main, I will say rather, port. It's for all the business. Manama was thriving like anything. And ultimately, so I think my forefathers and everything, they thought of establishing and says, okay, let us stay here. This is a nice place.
To do a business at that time was all like, it used to be a souk. Now that souk, I went maybe after 20 years last week. That souk where I had the shop, I had gone 20 years before, has been turned into an antique by Sheikh Amaya, who has turned it into heritage.
Today, India stands as the 7th most important trade partner to Bahrain in terms of imports and ranks 6th for exports. Trade value between both the countries currently stands at over $1 billion. Bahrain's low operating costs, almost 45% more cost-effective than ports in the rest of GCC, and having some of the largest logistic operators, makes Bahrain a gateway for Indian traders to the Western markets as well. So, what really surged trade between the two countries? Increased migration to the island. The majority of the trade were imports brought in for the 350,000 plus Indians currently settled in Bahrain.
Ministry of Finance and the Government of Bahrain, they supported by giving the subsidies to all the businesses, and all Indian businesses plus expatriates were level playing with the Bahraini businessmen in terms of subsidies and other facilities which were given by the Government of Bahrain. And I could not see these facilities to this level happening in any part of the world.
Bahrain, a geographically relatively small country with only 765 square kilometers in area.
Bahrain was the first place to have oil actually. So that started people coming in, business also booming in, and there was a refinery also was put first. That was the first, I think, ever. There was need for what you call skilled people as well as unskilled people. So there was always a demand. Whoever came from our community, I will say, oh, you will get a job in Babco.
Monetary gains attracted young Indians to find jobs in GCC countries, including Bahrain.
The Bahraini labor market is rich with Indian expert labor in various economic sectors like engineering, industrial, commerce, construction, and much more.
Out of the 1.7 million population of Bahrain, around 650,000 people are expatriates, out of which more than 350,000 are from the Indian subcontinent.
The largest number of expatriate workers were Indians. The lowest number of disputes and cases are Indians.
With over 90% specifically from southern parts of India. This huge migrant population plays a significant role not only to the host countries, but also in major developmental contribution to the country of origin. Migration from India to Bahrain started in the last quarter of the 19th century when Bunyan merchants arrived from then British India.
I think the name still goes on, still some people they call it you are Banyan. And we just proudly say, yes, I am a Banyan.
Early records show that there were 2,500 Indian families settled in Bahrain in 1925.
I'm fifth generation in Bahrain, and even our sixth generation has also arrived since last few years.
By 1950, there were 600 Indians employed in BAPCO. It was in the last 20 years that the inward surge of Indian migrants to Bahrain reached its peak, but the inflow has been steady since the early 70s. Migration also gave way to chain migration of the family or relatives from the respective states.
I mean, the Indians in per se generally are the preferred nationality. So that way, I would proudly say that the Bahrain does prefer Indians.
70% of the Indian immigration population are blue-collared workers who have contributed their might in building this beautiful country as it is today.
Here in the Ministry of Labour, I'm very pleased to work very closely with the Indian Embassy and with the NGOs society here in Bahrain. We are working together in order to make the life very easy for the workers and to make sure they get their rights according to Bahrain labor law.
A sizable population of skilled workers also play a vital role in Bahrain's socio-economic development. Bahrain, often hailed as the most accommodating country for migrants in the Gulf region, was the first country to extend the benefit of organization to migrant workers by allowing the formation of trade unions. India is the largest recipient of remittances from across the world. Remittances to India from Bahrain account to almost 1.336 billion US dollars. Bahrain used the Indian rupee for a long time during the British rule, and to this date, many Bahrainis still refer to some denominations as rupiah. Bahrain is the site of the ancient Dilmun civilization. Consisting of 50 natural islands and 33 artificial islands, the pearls from the seas of Bahrain are famed around the world. Bahrain was also one of the earliest areas to be influenced by Islam. In 1971, Bahrain declared independence from becoming the protectorate of the United Kingdom, and in 2002, Bahrain was declared as an Islamic constitutional monarchy. Bahrain has a high Human Development Index and is recognized by the World Bank as a high-income economy. The IMF has recognized Bahrain as the fastest-growing economy in the GCC. Bahrain is a member of the United Nations Non-Aligned Movement, Arab League, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and Gulf Cooperation Council. Attracting over 8 million tourists annually, the F1 Grand Prix, Manama Grand Souk, archaeological sites, National Museum, and Tree of Life are all world-renowned tourist attractions. The Indian workforce has played a significant role in developing the infrastructure of modern Bahrain. Many Indians have invested and set up huge construction companies to facilitate and support the vision of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
There are promising areas for cooperation and experiences exchanges pertaining to the ministry with its counterparties in the Republic of India. The ministry looks forward to enhancing its expertise in the field of partnership with the private sector to develop infrastructure projects where the Republic of India is a leading country in activating partnership projects with the private sector. Of course, the Ministry of Works looks forward to increasing the level of human expertise exchange through the participation of engineers from the ministry in specialized courses and conferences in the Republic of India.
Even in Bahrain, Indians are among the highest investor across various sectors. This will boost economics of both countries. Big project also provide for employment, both full-time and part-time, to many workers from India. We are one of the many companies in Bahrain that have a large number of Indian employees. Bahrain has a large potential for development in infrastructure. With a 30% surge in population in the last decade, the kingdom has invested in the roads, bridges, housing, and such much more to meet the demand.
In figures, Indians have invested over 1.6 billion US dollars, particularly in the fields of finance, contracting, and banking. The investment across India by Bahrain crosses over 140 million US dollars in various projects.
I would say that we are very fortunate to be in here and carry out our work, whatever is given to us. So the opportunities are there, but it's a question of how do you do it and how responsible and how capable you are in your field.
The Bahrain Economic Development Board even opened a representative office in the financial capital of India, Mumbai. Indian health professionals have been the backbone of the health industry since over a half-century on the island.
The expatriate population of the doctors and the nurses have been doing a tremendous job for the support of the treatment facilities in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and even at present they are continuing their services for the kingdom.
Indians have played a vital role in the medical sector by opening various private high-tech hospitals in the country. The people of Bahrain have also accepted alternative Indian medicine in the form of Ayurveda with open arms.
Ayurvedic treatment, what I feel is, it's beyond barriers. It has nothing to do with an Indian system of medicine, or it's confined to India, or even confined to any particular region, religion, or whatever. It has no barriers at all. Rules and regulations they have formulated so far has been very democratic. They have taken us also in the picture. They have made us also sit on one side and hear our views so that the regulations will be practical and easy to comply.
India's timely response in sending COVID vaccines to Bahrain was much appreciated.
The Indian population played a great role in controlling and helping the government control this pandemic. And we are really very grateful.
Later, India's indigenously developed Covaxin was approved by the Health Ministry. There are many schools in Bahrain teaching the Indian syllabus, CBSE, to over 50,000 children from Indian families. The oldest of them, the Indian School, was established in 1950 and teaches around 12,000 children and has over 600 Indian staff working in the facility.
Indian education is one of the top. Of course, I have a vested interest to say this because I'm a product of that system. However, you see the world's largest corporation in the world now, who manages them? Who runs them? Who controls them? Who owns them? Okay, it's all Indians, product of Indian education. Study in a country, you always feel like indebted to that country. You always feel thankful. You always feel attached to that country, you see.
The Bahrain educational arena is nourished by the Indian faculty members in various subjects, both in private and public sectors. The vast Indian community who migrated to Bahrain also brought along with them their rich Indian culture, which was very well accepted in Bahrain. Bahrain always embraced Indian culture, religion, and their traditions. the Indian Club was established in 1915 and is today one of the most prestigious clubs of Bahrain.
Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Charunamardhanam.
The Srinathji temple was established in the year 1817 by the Tatai Hindu community.
It's a kind of must-go place for any tourist. So you know what is there in Bahrain to see. So I think Hindu temple Bahrain is one of the places, and maybe you're aware that the mosques are the nearby, church is nearby, the Jews synagogue, that's also nearby. So you can see in the almost 2.5 kilometer radius, all the 4 religious places are existing.
वैदिक सनातन धर्म या हिंदू संस्कृति के संस्कारों के अनुसार हमारा ये मंदिर सदियों से न केवल आस्था का केंद्र किंतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुख भाग भवेत्, इन सिद्धांतों के साथ सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत करता रहा।
Also socially.
The Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities hosts the annual Little India Festival in collaboration with the Indian Embassy, where the Indian ties to this country are celebrated with a variety of events, literary, musical, and educational activities.
The culture between the two countries is very much similar. So when we're looking into our engagement with Indian families, they come here to us and work with us. We feel, again, their family.
The Indian festivities like Diwali and Onam are celebrated by the rulers of Bahrain in a big way, along with the Indian community, showcasing the strong cultural bond between the countries.
We share this beautiful moment. We went to visit the Indian community in their houses. We share with them the food. We share with them the blessing. And we understand that the mutual relation and the understanding between the two countries and the two people, the people of Bahrain and the people of India, it's make the Indian community are most welcome to work in this, to stay in these countries, to develop their business, to work, to register their kids in school, and to share with us every beautiful things God gave to these countries.
Na dhin dhin na, na dhin dhin na, na tin tin ta. ta dhin na di di na na dhin krdin din na. They would come and talk to me afterwards and they say, how did you get into this? And are you sure you're Bahraini? I said, yes, I'm one of you. أدعو كل شاب أو شابة بحرينيين في أنهم يجربون ويمارسون الفنون الهندية سواء كانت فولكلورية أو تقليدية، لأنها غنية جدا بالثقافة وبالانضباط، فتعلم طريقة حياة مختلفة جدا. يعني من أحسن التجربات اللي حصلت معاي من ناحية الثقافة، تبادل الثقافات البحرينية والهندية، من ناحية ترحيب وعنق الشعب الهندي فيني، يعني صراحة تجربة جدا جدا ممتازة ومن أحسن اللحظات اللي عشتها في حياتي. فأدعو الكل إنه يجربها ويشوف ويعطيها فرصة في تفهم الفن الهندي سواء كان من موسيقى أو من رقص.
With the present Indian government's international push to promote yoga for the well-being of every human living in the world, the United Nations has declared the 21st of June as International Yoga Day. This is also celebrated in Bahrain by both locals and expatriates alike.
Once I got into yoga, it was so beautiful to explore the other side, despite of the aspect of only physical postures. It's a complete spiritual work which is invisible to people. Well, people in Bahrain are very open to the rest of the GCC from the very beginning. Multicultural from a long time back. There was no closing of mind into just one religion and one everything. No, we've been open to everything from ages and ages, mixed cultures. And there's a very close relation between India and Bahrain. I mean, we don't have to go back. It's just beautiful. It has benefited in many other ways. It has benefited into the health aspect. It's benefited into learning cultures, more open-mindedness, a lot more things. I mean, for us, it didn't take time to adapt to everything because we were very open to everything from the beginning itself.
ഞാൻ ജോർജൻ ജോൺ. ഈ പ്രാവശ്യം ജപ്പാനിൽ വെച്ച് നടന്ന 2020 പാരാലിമ്പിക്സിൽ ബഹ്റിനെ റെപ്രസെൻ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പോകാൻ പറ്റിയ ഒരേയൊരു ഇന്ത്യൻ BWF അമ്പയർ. ഒരു 10 വർഷം മുമ്പാണ് ഇവിടെയുള്ള ഇന്ത്യൻ പ്രവാസികൾക്ക് ബഹ്റിൻ ബാഡ്മിൻ്റൺ ആൻഡ് സ്ക്വാഷ് ഫെഡറേഷൻ്റെ ഒരു നാഷണൽ അമ്പയർ ആവാനുള്ള ഒരു ട്രെയിനിങ്ങും അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു എക്സാമും എല്ലാം ഒരു ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കിട്ടിയത്. അന്ന് മുതൽ ഒത്തിരി ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ ടൂർണമെൻറ്റുകൾ പോകാനുള്ള ചാൻസസ് കിട്ടി. ബഹ്റിനിലായതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ് ഇത്രയധികം ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടിയത്.
It is a proud fact that there are Indian nationals representing Bahrain in various sports like badminton, cricket, taekwondo, and others. During international games, these individuals hold the Bahraini flag close to their hearts and showcase their best performances, bringing pride to the kingdom. Narendra Modi was conferred with the King Hamad Order of the Renaissance during his official visit to the kingdom in 2019. This was in recognition of the strong ties between the two countries.
The deep-rooted historical friendship between peoples of our two countries has been the bedrock of our bilateral ties. With regular high-level exchanges and interactions, these have grown from strength to strength over the years. The visit of His Majesty the King to India in 2014, the visits of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince in 2012 and 13, and more recently, the visit of Honorable Prime Minister of India to Bahrain in 2019 have provided the roadmap and deepened and diversified these ties. Our bilateral cooperation today virtually covers all sectors of political, security, economic, trade, cultural and education. I am sure that our bilateral relations will reach even greater heights in times to come.
There is a large degree of convergence between the two countries on various global issues. There have been various top official visits of delegates between the two countries and have developed specific proposals for enhanced bilateral interaction and strategic and security cooperation. India and Bahrain have signed over 10 MOUs covering various sectors which include bilateral investment, labor and manpower development, media cooperation, air service agreement, legal and judicial cooperation, information and communication cooperation, and others. Years of diplomatic ties between these two countries is only the beginning. These 50 years stand as a landmark achievement in many fields, and it is also a guide for future generations to take forward. God bless both the countries, its leaders, and its people. Thank you, Bahrain, for your hospitality, and thank you to all the Indian brothers and sisters in Bahrain for your continuous support. We, Nav Bharat, proudly celebrate the legacy of the 50 years ties of the two countries. Jai Hind.
عاشت مملكة البحرين